Slam 6 Quarter 1, that is all about photosynthesis. What are the objectives? Number 1. Identify the plant parts involved in photosynthesis. Number 2. Describe the parts and functions of chloroplast. Number 3. Enumerate the requirements and products of photosynthesis. What is photosynthesis? That is the process by which plants use sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide to create oxygen and energy in the form of sugar. Why do plants can make their own food? That is because of the chlorophyll. What is chlorophyll? Green pigment present in all green plants, responsible for the absorption of light to provide energy for photosynthesis. In what part of the plant photosynthesis happens? It happens in the chloroplast. What is chloroplast? Chloroplasts are organelles found in the plant cells that conduct photosynthesis. It contains chlorophyll, which absorbs sunlight and use it to start the reaction. In what part of the leaf chloroplast mostly concentrated? For you to know that, we have to know first the parts of the leaf. In the leaf, we have so-called cuticle, upper epidermis, palisade mesophyll, spongy mesophyll, lower epidermis, stoma, guard cells, xylem and phloem, are also called as vascular bundle. In plants, chloroplasts occur in all green tissues, though they are concentrated particularly in the parenchyma cells of leaf mesophyll. So meaning, chloroplasts are mostly concentrated in the palisade and spongy mesophyll. What are the parts of chloroplast? We have so-called outer membrane. It is a semi-porous membrane and is permeable to small molecules and ions. Next part called as inner membrane. Encloses a fluid-filled region called the stroma that contains enzyme. Intermembrane space. Present between the outer and inner membrane of the chloroplast. Thylakoid. Here's the example of thylakoid. Thylakoid is sheet-like membrane-bound structure inside the chloroplast, which contain chlorophyll. What about granum? Granum is a stock portion of thylakoid membrane in the chloroplast. Here's the example of granum. What about grana? Here's the example of grana. Grana is the plural form of granum, meaning stacks of thylakoids. Lamellae act like the skeleton of the chloroplast. Last part called as stroma. That is the colorless fluid surrounding the grana within the chloroplast. Now, it's about time for you to know, how do plants grow? What are the materials needed for the plants to grow? Here are the raw materials needed. We have carbon dioxide and water. You have to take note that plants get water through the soil, and carbon dioxide enters in the leaf of the plants. As I said, one of the materials needed for photosynthesis is water. To start the reaction in water molecule, plant needs energy coming from the sun to split water molecule into hydrogen and oxygen. As the reaction takes place, there will be a production of oxygen gas because oxygen gas is not needed for the process of photosynthesis. Therefore, it can be called as waste product of photosynthesis. To complete the reaction in photosynthesis, plants need carbon dioxide. As the reaction takes place, there will be production of glucose. Here is the chemical equation of photosynthesis. Based on the equation, as the carbon dioxide reacts with water with the presence of sunlight, there will be a production of sugar or glucose and oxygen gas. Now let us proceed to stages of photosynthesis. In photosynthesis, we have so-called as light-dependent reaction and light-independent reaction, or also known as Calvin's cycle. Light-dependent reaction. Light-dependent reaction use the light energy coming from the sun to start the reaction in water molecule. As the reaction happens, the energy will be produced in form of ATP and NADPH. Again, the energy source for light-dependent reaction is coming from the sun. This reaction happens in the thylakoid. Light-dependent reaction raw material, water. Light-dependent reaction byproduct, oxygen gas. Let us proceed to light-independent reaction. Light-independent reaction use the ATP and NADPH from the light-dependent reaction to reduce carbon dioxide and convert it to glucose. Note of this, the raw material needed for light-independent reaction is carbon dioxide. And the product of light-independent reaction is glucose. Another thing that you have to remember is the site of reaction of light-independent reaction. It happens in the stroma. Summary. Raw material for light-dependent reaction, water. In Calvin's cycle, carbon dioxide. Products. Light-dependent reaction, ATP, NADPH, and oxygen gas. In Calvin's cycle, we have so-called glucose. Energy source. Light-dependent reaction, sunlight. In Calvin's cycle, we have ATP and NADPH as the energy source. Light-dependent reaction site in the thylakoids, while in Calvin's cycle, it happens in the stroma. That's all. Hope you learned something. Thank you.